Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Kuroko no Basuke Chapter 262 review. Now, the thing here is this. Today, I'm a very busy bee. And that's because there are a lot of chapters to review. So today, I do not have the time to do the live reactions. I just don't. So normally what I would do, or what I'm trying to do as a trend now, is to do live reaction / review for Kuroko no Basket chapters, because they're actually very quick reads and they're very simple to do. But because I have to do Kuroko no Basket, Magi, Hunter x Hunter, which just came out on some mad early shit. Well, but then it's Togashi, so it's kind of like, fuck it. Then I have One Piece, Toriko, Bleach, Naruto, so I'm like, fuck. So I have all this shit to review in one day. So I don't have the time to actually do live reactions. So that's the way it is. That being said, this week's chapter, or whenever the chapter came out, because it probably came out on Saturday or on Sunday, Monday, whenever, I don't care. This chapter of Kuroko no Basket 262 basically can be summarized in 5 main points. The first point number 1, Akashi Seijiro. Point number 2, Kagami right now has reached the door to the inner zone. However, there is the Gate Guardian, and the Gate Guardian shall not let him pass. On some Gandalf like, and you shall not. We all know the drill. Point number 3 is that apparently we're now finding out that the only real difference between Akashi and guys like Almina and Kagami is that, and even Murasakibara, is that he has the Emperor's Eye. If he did not have such an eye, this would be very similar to Almine versus Kagami when they were both in the zone. But because he has the Emperor's Eye, even though they're both in the zone, Akashi can dominate Kagami. Number 4 is that right now, because he's being dominated, Kagami is focusing too much on getting into the inner zone realm. Which then brings up number 5, which is, in order to compensate, Kuroko is going to help out Kagami in bridging the gap that is the Emperor's Eye, and Kuroko himself has just swayed Kagami when it comes to focusing too much on the inner zone and simply relying on your mights to get the job done. And that's it. So, point number 1, Akashi. This dude starts off on defense. What happens? Field. He doesn't see. Here's the thing that was awesome. Kagami. Kagami, when he does his zone perimeter, it's just that. It's a perimeter. It's like a small circle on the ground. That's the way it's depicted. So, it's pretty badass, don't get me wrong. But Akashi is even more badass when he does his thing. Because A, it's just him walking, alright? Like he's walking down the yellow brick road, just chilling, alright? On some straight body bag mode shit. Like he's just walking. And number 2 is that it's depicted as a field. Like a straight up, like, semicircle. I'm like, dog. And the pressure that Kagami once exerted on the members of Rakuzan, that same pressure they are now feeling from Akashi Seijiro. In fact, probably even more so, because Akashi, he's just more intense. As a dude, he's just way more intense. So Akashi, he's just bringing down the pressure. And that was cool as fuck, I can't deny it. And when you had Akashi steal the ball from Kagami, and how Kagami tried to, counteract him, but he couldn't, because again, that Emperor's Eye apparently makes the world, well, on this side, makes the world of difference. And The end result is just Kagami just tumbling and stumbling while he's in the zone, and Akashi easy 2-pointer. That's it, money. And then he winds up hitting the ball out of Kagami's hand, and now the ball's out of bounds. So right now, the chapter ends off on a 14-point spread. So they're not in the 20s, God thank you. But right now, it's a 14-point spread. So that's number 1, Akashi Seijiro. Number 2, Kagami's there. He's at the inner door zone thingy. But the gate guardian is a strong guardian. So I don't know what the key is, because normally, when it comes to the key, they already know. Aomine knows his key. Akashi knows his key. Kagami knows his key. I'm pretty sure that Murasakibara, if he actually really wanted to try, he knows his key as well. His key to enter the zone. But the inner zone, no one has ever been there before. A place where no one's gone. Unknown. The wild. And the problem here is that right now, in order for Kagami to actually compete with Akashi one-on-one, he has to be in that inner realm. Now, what the requirement is, again, we don't know. It could tie in more to the team as opposed to the individual. But at the same time, Kagami's key into the zone is team-based. So how far do you need to go for your mates? Maybe a key to even to the inner realm. Again, I'm not too sure, but we'll see. If he was here, DiCaprio, he would know in an instant. However, I get the funny feeling that if Akashi does get to that point too in the zone, that inner zone may be guarded by his alter ego. So again, I'm not too sure, but we'll see how that we'll see how that rolls later on. Number 3, very simple. Again, apparently, skill-wise, they're not that far off. So if Akashi did not have the Emperor's Eye, it'd be very similar to Aomine versus Kagami. But in his case, Akashi. And that's kind of scary, though. Like, even though they're both in the zone, the Emperor Eye allows him to just punk him. To just straight up punk a fucking Kagami. So, this jumps ahead to point number 5, where what can Kuroko do to compensate the Emperor's Eye? So he was watching the video footage, and apparently he figured out that no one else could. Throwing me off, but we'll see. I'm very curious, because Kuroko is someone who understands because his misdirection ties mainly to one's vision and deceiving that person's vision. So since the Emperor's Eye is a vision, or as they would call it in a certain series, a dojutsu if you would, maybe he's figured out a way, since his forte of misdirection is based on ocular deception. We'll see. But point number 4 is I like how Kagami, once he was talking to Kuroko, he knew immediately that he made the same mistake before when it came to Murasakibara and the zone. But in this case, it's the inner zone. So even though he's at 100%, there is still some flaws in his gameplay right now because he's so focused on the inner zone and not on, let's say, his mates or something else that he could have done in order to try and counter Kakashi. So we'll see how this rolls out. But overall, this chapter is somewhat set up for what's to come, pertaining to the inner zone, pertaining to Kuroko and what he's figured out, and what he's figured out when it comes to Akashi. And the main thing here that we've actually learned is that Akashi, again, from a skill standpoint, is not that far off when it comes to him and the other players, the other gen and the gen level dudes. But because there's a fucking eye, that eye makes the world of difference. So the chapter overall, good. And I will see you guys later. Give me your thoughts on the chapter. What do you guys think? Rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice day.